Hello everyone!
Hello.
Today we are looking at something that is apparently a big favorite on the internet. It is
Wax crayons.
wax crayons.
So-
One more time.
We are having a look at wax crayons. We received a few more. And of course, everybody's absolute favorite, with a big hint of sarcasm, the Jots.
Yes, the kind of cheapish stuff that your parents or your aunt or your grandparents or whoever brings for you when they thought they do a great purchase because it's 48 colors in there and it's not like that much money than one of those, and and you end up like getting a little frustrated because you never got the colors out of them that you want or need.
Absolutely. So today we are actually going to be having a look at different ways that you could blend them.
Yes, and I hear you say blend wax crayons. Are you crazy? No, apparently that's the thing. We've been actually looking on several methods on the internet how to blend these, and we thought we'd try out some here in the video, which is what we're doing today.
Yes, so I'm going to just go with these. So we are going to start blending with what a lot of people seem to think is a good idea, is blending with
Q-tips and Vaseline.
So here I have a picture. This was drawn at the beginning of the year. This is in the Monte sketching diary, which definitely means sketch in pencil, charcoal, pastel or pen. I noticed the hard way when trying to colour with coloured pencils, they actually don't like this paper.
It's kind of weird because, I mean, you'd expect it. It's like a little bit textured. You'd expect the pigment to fit and hold nicely, but for some reason, I don't know, it just doesn't want.
It just doesn't want to at all. It's actually really confusing as to why it won't, but I digress.
We just accept it the way it is. Sometimes you just have to try things out.
You just have to try things out the way they are. So I am going to use this blue, this purple, and this red, I think. And maybe going into the orange and then into the yellow. So I'm just going to colour something quick. This is the Technicolor Wolf because it's just been home to many experiments.
Yeah, sometimes you just like draw something that you like very much in the beginning, and then something happens and you notice that it's not working out, but it's still good enough to experiment on it, and that's one of these things.
Yeah, that's just one of these things, because this one, like I said, was supposed to be for the Brutfunner test, or part of the Brutfunner test, and then I noticed very quickly that the coloured pencils are not wanting to blend at all on this paper. It's actually very scratchy for some reason. So I am just putting a whole bunch of colours down that should blend into each other. So I mean, these are Crayolas. They're actually pretty good at blending without really doing too much to them. But apparently to get them smoother, you can try and add some Vaseline to make your blend smoother, apparently.
Also, the internet tells us. I mean, I'm a little skeptic, to be honest, because, I mean, of the nature of Vaseline. I mean, it's like when you put it onto something, it always has this very slick feel to it.
Yeah, so I have taken some Vaseline here, and now I am going to try and smooth it on here to try and blend these. So yeah, it is working, but at the same time it's actually pulling up quite a bit of the pigment.
Which is not a good thing. That's not what you want. You want to blend it with each other and not just like lift it off.
Yeah, as you can see that some of it has blended together, but you can also see that there are several now patches visible from where the pigment has literally been pulled off. So, I mean, I've been watching a few videos of people blending wax crayons with Vaseline, and theirs always seems to come out a little bit better, so I don't know if it's trickery or if I'm doing something wrong. I've tried different papers. I get the same effect, so I'm not such a fan of blending with Vaseline.
If it works for you, that's great. I mean, this tub costed, what, like €2 or so? So you're not losing much if you want to try it out. Maybe it works for you.
Maybe. but I don't like it.
However, what stays is what I said at the beginning. You have this like slight, like waxy feeling. I mean, you always have a waxy feeling on wax crayons, but
Yeah, you got like the slight oily feeling,
yeah,
however.
and now I have it on my fingers.
I have noticed with the tests I did the other day, they seem to actually have dried up.
Okay, so they do dry up.
It seems to dry up.
Alright, well, then you just need to be careful, like, for a day or two, or, well, if you're an impatient person, that's maybe still too short for you.
Yeah. Okay, so, next up, we are going to try and blend with...
Baby oil, which, actually the sticker peeled off, that's why I just, like, put some masking tape over it, so you do not have that, glue on your fingers. And we labeled it very lovingly.
Very lovingly. So yeah, the oil went all weird and made the label all gross. So. Okay, so I'm going to do a green and a blue and this purpley colour. I don't know, the colours of kindness don't really give you much choice here. But let's just go with these three. So.
While you are doing this, I can maybe say that even though there is no label on this is just like pure regular baby oil that you can buy in every supermarket probably. Where the diapers are and everything. There is nothing special. This is not an extra art supply or anything by any means.
No, it's not by any means. It's just the label was completely gross and we did not want to show how gross it was on camera.
Because that would have looked not good. And we want things to ideally look nice.
Okay, that did not work out that great. I'm going to switch to other colours here because I don't know. That is very weird.
I don't know, it looks weird.
So I'm just going to switch to some crazy art colours here. I'm going to use a blue. Actually, no, let's use an orange. They're rolling everywhere. Let's use an orange and a red and a yellow. I'm going to start with the red first, so I'm just going to go here. Sorry for the noise, every time we start filming the cats suddenly become very active.
Because why not? What's the better time to play with the ball when a camera is rolling? And you're supposed to be silent.
Yeah, you're supposed to be silent and yeah, it's... Okay, so I did this now. With the crazy art, they are not... I didn't try anything super unique here. Because the blending is supposed to happen when we add some baby oil to it. And of course it's got a child-proof cap and I think that's what actually caused the oil spill to begin with. Because you end up squeezing the bottle to get some kind of grip. So I'm just going to carefully, well not very carefully, got it on my hand.
Well, the thing is, under normal circumstances when you use it for the intended purpose, you do not need to be super careful with it, so...
Yeah. Okay, like the Vaseline, it's basically doing a very similar effect here. It is... yeah, it is blending, but not that good because it is also pulling up some of the pigment, as you can see.
Which is not what you want. On the, I don't know if it's a plus side, it smells well, slightly scented like baby oil. If you like that or not, that's up to you, but yeah, you will have to smell of it.
Yeah, okay, that was from my hand now.
Yeah, and that's maybe the other thing we should say. It's kind of like a little bit more messy.
Okay, so now we're going to have to avoid these areas here because now it's going to taint any other thing that we are doing. So, the next blending that we're going to do
is something that is said to cause but also solve a lot of problems in the world, and that's cold hard cash.
Cold hard cash. So this one, I haven't really seen anything of this on the internet, but this is something that my sisters and I used to do. So this is a little hack from my childhood that we used to do when we used to get crayons that we wanted to blend. So I'm just going to get a few colours. I want a purple as well. Okay, so So I'm just going to colour a little something here. I don't even know what I'm doing today.
It's like sometimes you just like need to switch your brain onto autopilot, because once you start thinking about the things that you are doing, I don't know, sometimes thinking is not a good thing.
Yeah.
Especially with stuff like coloring in, sometimes you just need to go on autopilot and let your hand do the work that your brain normally should do.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Today my mind is just not catered to coming up with colouring. So, if you take a coin and you go like this, and as you can see, the coin is doing a better job than the other things that we have tried.
Which is remarkable, because, I mean...
There you go.
I mean, that basically, if I say it didn't cost any money, that's a bad pun, but I mean, everyone has somewhere a coin in the house. You don't even need a coin as such, just like a harder thing that you can like rub over the paper that is not like too sharp edged.
Yeah, because what we used to use in the 90s, we used to get Reader's Digest newsletters and stuff, and they always used to give this weird token, which was like a weird plasticky thing, and we used to keep one of these tokens in our box of crayons, which we used to use for blending, and as you can see, it has done a really good job. I did scratch it now by going the wrong way, but it's also very like smooth now. You don't have that waxy feeling anymore. It's very smooth. The only thing you need to watch out for is that sometimes it will make flakes of wax that you need to carefully lift off the paper, because sometimes it can adhere to other areas and then make like a mess.
Which of course you do not want. But
yes.
I think so far this is like the easiest and possibly also best working you showed.
Yes, I swear by the coin method. So before we move on to the next one, I want to show a little something that I did prepare.
Maybe let me take this out of the equation so you don't put your book into the baby oil accidentally.
Yeah, so I coloured this picture yesterday. This is with Crayola crayons, and I was busy with this one today. This is with Crazy Art. So both of these, you can see that they have been, I've blended a lot of colours here, and it's very smooth, and I literally used the coin method to do this. So in the main, we got black for the shadows, we got brown as the normal colour, and then I used like an orangey red for the highlights. And for his fur colour, I used the brown that was for the mane to carefully do shadows. I went with a bit of orange, and then I mixed over with the yellow. So there is another method of shading that you can do, which also works really well, is if you use the white crayon. So I'm going to just do a little bit of this now, because I don't want to make this video too long. So you can see I already started doing things over here. So I'm just going to make this just a little bit darker. Then I'm going to add some of this brown. Now the thing is, when you start layering these on top of each other, it will start doing that waxy build-up that I mentioned. And you can actually see where some of it has happened.
I was about to ask, is this basically what you just warned everyone
yes,
of? If
you
have
need to be
these
careful.
little flakes and you just, I don't know, what's the best way to get rid of them? Just like blow on it so that it flies off the paper?
I would say just blow on it so it flies off the paper, because if you go like this with your hand, your skin oils will actually make it stick. Because here I was using my hand yesterday because I was just wanting to colour without really thinking too much. Here I was actually just blowing it away, and you can see I haven't had any of that build up on this one. But this one, you can see a few places where some wax has been trapped in. So another way you can blend is to actually just use the white crayon by going over what you have coloured, and look there.
Well, that's interesting. I mean, I think I'm not the only person that asked himself as a child what the white specimen in every package of, if it's wax crayons or color pencils or whatever, what they were good for.
Same. I mean, my parents, well, my father, surviving father, can vouch that when I was bought a pack of crayons, the first thing I would do would take out the yellow and white crayon and give them to my parents because I refused to use them. I didn't see a use for them because I couldn't see them on the paper. But yeah, that's what a child does. But when you...
I mean, that's also what an adult does. Before we actually got into the subject, I had no idea what these are for, to be honest.
Yeah, no, the white one seems like a very useless crayon, but it can actually be one of the most important ones actually in your pack because you can actually blend with it. And it's not pulling up the pigment like the Vaseline was doing or the baby oil. You are getting a bit of the waxy buildup that you may be able to remove with the coin if you go over it. You just need to be careful that you don't scratch the paper. But you can see that you can actually blend really nicely just with what comes in your pack of crayons without spending any more money.
That's actually cool.
So now we are going to move on to a little bonus one. Because I know there will be some people out there who will be like, yes, but what about blending with a paper towel? And that's exactly where we are going now. So,
here's paper towel.
Jots. As we know, and our American viewers will probably all be like, oh no, not the Jots, because, well, these are notoriously what you think of when you think of a cheap wax crayon, because the color selection is not great. They don't actually tell you what color you have.
So I mean, on the first glance, it's like a lot of stuff, but then when you like look a little closer, it's all like a little
Yeah, and much to everybody's dismay, these ones also do not work nice and smooth like the Crayolas do, for example. So now everybody will be like, oh no, don't ruin this picture. Well, we are going to ruin this picture.
Oh no, don't do it.
So as you can see, we are getting the typical cheap wax crayon issue showing through right here, where it is just absolutely abysmal. So I'm laying down some color because hey, this picture needs a background. And that's when we're going to use crappy Jots. Yeah, you can see it's also like very uneven and it starts doing this gross thing, which everybody hates. So now I'm going to come in here with this light color, which is much lighter, as you can see.
There you see also basically what was warned off. A lot of stuff is coming off the crayon here.
Yeah, I think this one also snapped in half now.
Lovely.
Yeah, it snapped in half. Okay, so I just want to put a little bit of purple in here so we can try and keep it interesting.
Now everyone will be asking, what in all the YouTube person's names are you doing?
These are definitely not fun to color with. I really don't like these.
No, it doesn't look satisfying.
These are like the ones I had in my childhood when I didn't have Crayola. So yeah, you end up with a very disappointing thing like this, where you as a child are probably throwing these across the room because it ruined your picture, and your parents will be like, no, it's not the crayons that ruined it, you just didn't try hard enough. Rubbish, it is the crayons. Anyway, so.
However, now we are getting to that part. What happens if you actually don't let it discourage you? You try harder.
Don't let it discourage you. Okay, can you hold the camera so it doesn't shake?
I'm holding the camera.
So, the Jots are not actually as useless as you would think. So,
requires a little force.
Requires a bit of force to move the wax on the paper. You have to be careful not to tear your paper. Of course, the better paper you have, the less likely it will do what this one is doing, because this is just really a really cheap coloring book.
But I mean, realistically, that's what you probably would use these in a cheap coloring book that you got alongside with the actual crayons.
Yes.
Possibly even in the same package.
Possibly, in the same shopping trip, and you're excited, you come home. So this gives a new life to the jots because they make perfect for background use. Yeah, the colours are not as vibrant as you would like, obviously, but at the same time it doesn't look horrible like it was looking a moment ago.
It's actually very remarkable. And is it ideal? No, of course it's not ideal, but still, if you don't have anything else, or if you want to show off like a nice party trick, this is actually very remarkable.
Yeah, I could work a little bit harder, but I'm tired now because that does take a bit of elbow grease and for such a large area. But no, you can actually do things with these jots, and I'm mainly going to be using them for backgrounds in stuff that I'm doing because you end up with a nice pastel-y blended look.
Yeah, I mean, if that's what you want for the background, absolutely fine. Right, it's again, it's not perfect. It's not supposed to be perfect. Nobody would expect it to be.
No.
But it's like leagues and light years better than what we actually started off with.
Exactly, because what we started off with was not good. Just wanted to try and smooth it just a little bit more.
I mean, let's be honest. Realistically, also that method has its borders, right? Like here, that's probably like even like a little too hard to blend even there. But I mean, even like this, it looks so much better now.
It does look so much better. Some of these other chunks you'll probably be able to buff out of the coin. You just have to be careful. So like I said, this will start making like little chunks of wax that you need to be careful of. And I blended a darker colour now without wiping the coin, and you can see it's made a dirt mark now. But yeah, so these are just some ways that you could blend your wax crowns.
Yeah, some ways, either that, or even cold hard cash would work.
Yes.
So yeah, that is that. And if you liked this, if you didn't like this, if you have any thoughts, if you have suggestions, please be sure to leave us a comment. And we shall see you in the next video. Bye.
Goodbye.